Hey guys, it's Nija, and I wanted to do a very candid podcast episode. So, this is, like I said, very candid, very unplanned. Um, but we're going to roll with it. So, I got this download today, and the download I received was the happening. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, what is happening? And it just feels like something is happening not only to the humans, but through the humans, and I felt a little bit awkward talking about this on my main channel. But you guys know on my spirituality channel, we talk all things metaphysical, energetics, and so I just felt most comfortable bringing this topic to this platform, and then we'll see where the conversation leads us. Maybe I will share it on my main channel. I did bring my cards because I do like to pull channeled and intuitive messages. So, what is happening? I feel as if you are an empath, you know that something is happening on the planet. And not only is something happening on the planet, something is happening to the humans and through the humans. Now, when I say to the humans, I am referring to like an an external influence that has some type of agenda, right? And so we already know this, right? We already know that there's some type of nefarious agenda. And I really try not to be pessimistic. I am solely going based off of empathy and how I feel. And it feels like something is very, I don't know if the word is wrong, but definitely manipulated and definitely skewed. And I feel as if we are all, again, I don't know if you guys feel this. If you're an empath, you definitely might feel this. We're like on the precipice of this grand and massive transformation. And it feels very uncomfortable, okay? I don't know about you guys, but lately it's been feeling very uncomfortable to even just be human. It's been feeling very uncomfortable to be in our skin and to feel so deeply and to see so much corruption in the world and having no place to put it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go ahead and start reading some messages, but I wanted to start with that. Something is happening. Something is happening here on the planet. And things have been happening for a very long time. Like, it's not like things just recently started happening. I feel as if there has been this unfolding that has been going on. And we just so happen to be at a very, one, influential time, and two, oh, the sun came out. They're saying we need to remain like positive and optimistic when talking about this conversation. And that's something that I think we should start with. I feel as if humanity has become very nihilistic, very cynical, very the opposite of optimistic. Like, just people are very jaded, people are very tainted. And I understand why. Like, there's a lot that is going on the planet. Now, from a higher and from a spiritual perspective, one might argue that yes, the humans signed up for this initiation. Yes, we agreed to X, Y, and Z. We agreed to war. We agreed to, corrupt political figures. We agreed to all of this so that we could move through and transmute this energy through the human body. I know this conversation is very woo woo. Like I said, this is why I didn't really feel comfortable talking about it on my main channel. But they're saying that we have every reason to feel optimistic as this energy is coming and moving and flowing through the humans, right? Like the sun card represents the light at the end of the tunnel, feeling optimistic, feeling like everything's going to be okay, right? And so I think that is how that I love that that's the first message. because we kind of have to remember that all things do work out for our good, and no matter how ugly things get, it's happening for a reason, and we have to trust that we are going to become clear and aware of why things are unfolding the way that they are unfolding. Angels, guides, and helpers for our highest and greatest good, what message do we have for the collective today? Ace of Wands. Something is happening. Okay. The Ace of Wands represents the initial spark, the initial flicker, the first action step, the first move being made. And when I see this card, it makes me feel as if, yes, you guys are already witnessing what is unfolding, okay? You're already in it. You're already witnessing it. You're seeing it in your friends and family. You're seeing it on the world stage. I personally don't watch the news anymore, but I listen to a lot of like podcasts and things like that, and I like watch TikTok, so that's how I get a lot of the news. You're seeing it. Something is happening to the humans. It is very energetic. It is very spiritual. I believe a lot of humans are under spiritual attack, and it is happening in their mind. There is like, I want to say it's like mind control, especially very heavily in the West. Yep, mind control in the West, with the moon followed by the death card, lots of illusion. But I feel as if that illusion is coming to an end because we have light workers incarnating and coming into the earth realm to bring the sun, to bring the light, to bring clarity to all of this illusion. People are going crazy because they think that the illusion is real. And I want to argue that the illusion is as real as we make it. If we want to experience higher timelines, look at this contrast, the sun versus the moon. If we want to experience higher timelines, we have to acknowledge that all the things that we are witnessing in our reality that are not the highest, meaning the genocide, the war, the whatever. It's not to say that it is an illusion, but it kind of is an illusion, meaning that we are participating in these lower timelines by choice. We are viewing the illusion that these lower beings, these lower nefarious people with nefarious agendas, we are only witnessing the illusion that they're putting out for us. In America, what does that look like? Being swept up in the illusion, being swept up in the media, right? All this stuff going on about, oh, Diddy did this and Trump did that. And, like putting all this stuff in your face to keep you distracted. Because really, the transformation happens within. Your personal transformation is going to happen within. But what happens is we allow our portals to be hijacked. What's what I mean by our portals to be hijacked? Our eyes, what we're viewing, what we're watching. This makes me think about like people who watch pornography. Your mind is being hijacked. People who watch the news, your mind is being hijacked. People who I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. And so our portals are hijacked, meaning our eyes are being hijacked, our ears are being hijacked. Yes, the ears represent a portal as well. The things that we listen to, right? The music has been hijacked. The politicians have been hijacked, right? The food has been hijacked. Yes, your mouth is a portal as well. The things that you're eating, it's all been hijacked. The food is not even real anymore. Your body is not even receiving any type of real substance from the food that you're eating. So we really are living in a world ruled by illusion. And that's what this moon card is saying. We are living in a dream. We are living in someone else's projected illusion. Like, this doesn't even have to be our story. This doesn't even have to be our reality. This doesn't even have to be the way life is. Because we've all been promised the sun. When you incarnate onto the earth realm, you have been promised the sun, meaning that you have been promised that, not that you've been promised that you're going to have a good life, but you've been promised that you get to wield the power of God within you, meaning that you have the power of choice and creation. Do you not? And so you have to wield that power of choice and creation even while you are being projected and bombarded with images of the illusion. Okay. And also, this makes me think about, so I'm not a political girl. Okay. I don't really care about what's going on in politics. I really don't care. What I care more about is how humans treat humans, and I feel as if we're so far removed that that was the intention when it comes to creating laws and creating policies and thinking about how a society should be ran and what is the basic sense of morality and all of these things. And now humanity is so caught up in the illusion of right versus left, Democrat versus Republican, conservative versus liberal. And it's like we can't even get to the pain points of humanity because people want to play this tit for tat game about choosing sides. And this also happens in religion, which is why I love that these two cards came out, the sun and the moon. This represents duality. Okay? Duality meaning that they're opposite sides, they're opposite poles. This is polarity, the sun and the moon. But what you guys don't understand is everything works together. The sun and the moon work together. Okay? There's no separating it. So, though we like to choose sides, humanity is going to go farther if we remove the sides and focus on morality and how humanity wants to be treated, how humans want to treat humans. And yeah, so this also makes me think about the duality and the polarity when it comes to religion and spirituality, right? And how people become so divisive when we talk about religion, right? And saying, like, oh no, my God is the true God. This God is the true God. This religion is the true religion. Spirituality is the true religion. New Age is demonic. Satanism is demonic. Like, something that I recently, I don't know, I was having this conversation in my head with God. For those of you guys who don't know, I don't know, this conversation's all over the place. Like I said, very candid, very raw. Happy that you guys are hanging out and listening. Oh, well, hey, someone's in the chat. Welcome. So, I had this conversation with God. And for those of you guys who don't know, I am not religious. I grew up in the Christian church. Um, so I was raised Christian. I was a Christian probably up until I was, I don't know, 18 or 19, maybe 20 in college. And I just want to say, you know how there's that saying that all roads lead to Rome? I feel as if, I don't want to say all truths lead to God, but there are an infinite number of roads to get to God. And I was having this conversation with God because I recently started reading my Bible again. And I was like, okay, I don't mind reading my Bible, but I don't want to be a Christian. I don't like the title. I don't like the divisiveness. I don't want it. Okay? I don't want it. However, I believe that it's possible to have a relationship with the divine, with God, with the universe, whatever you wanna call it, without necessarily needing to be a part of religion. And for a while, I grappled with it, right? Because I was like, "God, do you exist outside of religion? Is it possible? Can God exist outside of Christianity? Like, can I still have a relationship with God and not consider myself to be Christian?" And do you guys know what I heard? I heard the download, absolutely. Jesus wasn't a Christian, and Jesus and I were tight. And I was like, "Ugh, that makes me feel so much relief." I'm like, "Okay, great." Because I don't like the divisiveness. However, I don't have a problem with people having the freedom to choose. And I think that this is a problem that we have in society. We don't want people to choose. We don't like it when our side, when our team is not being chosen. For example, what turns me off in the Christian community is how judgmental people are, how condemning people are, how everyone wants to tell everybody about themselves and tell everybody that you're going to hell and you're wrong and you're a bad person. And I think that's man that does that. I don't think that that's God doing that at all. And I think that's what turned me off from the church and from religion. But then I remembered that I can still have a relationship with the universe, with God, with the divine, without feeling the need to be a part of these teams, without feeling the need to be a part of these. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Um, Lately I have been watching, this is a side tangent. I have been watching, Candace Owens, and I feel like she's a phenomenal, like, speaker, and I know, like, a lot of people do not flirt with her. A lot of people gave her a lot of backlash for, saying, like, "Christ is king," and all of these things. Um, what is the problem that we have with people getting to choose what they believe in? Why do people feel so attacked when somebody says, "I don't believe what you believe in, but I'm okay with you believing that." You know what I mean? For example, you know how there's the thing in Abrahamic religions where they like to convert people. Like Christianity is all about like the crusade and converting people. Catholicism, the crusades and converting people. The Islamic faith, converting people. Everybody wants to grab as many people on their side as possible. And I feel as if the reason for that is because there's power in numbers. And people feel inferior when they are on the minority team, right? But if we can convince as many people as possible that our doctrine is the truth, and we can get as many people in our club as possible, because we've got the numbers, we look as if this is the end all be all truth. And so I have a problem with people arguing with other people about what they believe, right? I have a problem with, and you know what's really funny? You don't really see Christians yelling at Jewish people saying, "Hey, you need to convert to Christianity," right? And you don't really see Jewish people yelling at Christian saying, "Hey, you need to become Jewish," right? You don't really see, well, no, you do see Christians yelling at, like, I don't know, people who are Hindu or people who are, like, I don't know, pagan, if that's their religious belief, saying, "You need to convert over to my side." I have a problem with that. I have a problem with that because, like I said, how they say all roads lead to Rome, I feel as if there's not one path to reach the divine. And I really believe that because humanity is so fixated on these titles, on left or right, on what's the title, what can we name this, what can we call this? No, you have to be called this. No, if you believe this, you have to be called that. That's where the divisiveness with humanity comes from. Feeling like if you're not on my team, you're my enemy. And that's a problem. People cannot believe what you believe in, and that's fine. You know? Are you emotionally regulated enough to hold space for people even when they don't agree with what you have to say? And this has everything to do with like politics, with religion, with humanity right now. I feel as if the issue with humanity is not that we can't get along, but that we have to argue to the death that we disagree on something. I think it's very dangerous to argue to the death because you guys don't agree on something, right? It's very dangerous. If God only wanted us to think in one way, he would have only made one type of person. Do you know how many different cultures and ethnicities and, the variety of color and culture? If God wanted us to all be the same and believe in the same thing, wouldn't we all look the same? I think there's something beautiful that needs to be celebrated in all the differences, right? You can go to a mosque and say, "I don't necessarily believe in this, but I'm okay with holding space with for you. I'm not going to physically harm you because I don't agree with what you believe in." How dare we as a society, as a culture, as a people try to get inside somebody's mind and tell them that you're not allowed to believe what you want to believe. You have to believe what I want you to believe. You have to believe that God is like this. You have to believe that the world works like this. You have to believe, like, what? That's the real hijacking of the mind. Not allowing people to be critical thinkers, not allowing people to think for themselves and have their own opinions, and not allowing people to express themselves the way that they choose to. I am 100% okay with self-expression, as long as your self-expression does not include you harming anybody. And this is why I actually do agree with, I don't know if this is a pagan rule, or I can't necessarily remember, so forgive me, where this comes from, but, it says, "Do what thou wilt, but harm to none," meaning that you can do whatever the ferf you want, but don't hurt anybody. You can believe whatever you wanna believe, but don't hurt anybody, right? My issue with humanity is that people believe what they wanna believe, but then feel the need that they have to go to war and harm people when they don't agree with you. What happened to agreeing to disagree? What happened to I am willing to listen to your truth. That's not my truth, but I am willing to allow you to have your truth. Yeah, these are just some thoughts that I'm having today. Wow, you guys are listening. Hi, welcome, welcome. Yeah, I am just on a little soapbox today. Because honestly, guys, sometimes I can understand why we as humans can feel a little bit like, what is the word? Like like humanity is cooked. Have you heard people's not like, when they're like, "Oh my god, he's cooked. She's cooked." In my head, sometimes I'm like, "Oh my god, humanity is cooked." And we're cooked because we have no idea how to hold space for each other. We're cooked because we have no idea how to share space with each other, how to listen to each other. We have no idea how to let people think and believe what they want to believe without wanting to put our hands on them. That's a lack of emotional intelligence. If you can allow somebody to believe what they believe or to think what they think or to feel how they feel without feeling the need to put your hands on them or, kill a collective of people for believing what they believe or, you know, genocide at its most extreme point, like, why do we think that it's okay to harm people who don't believe what we believe? And this takes me right back to religion. I feel as if because humans created religion to control, and because people had a superiority complex. If we can say, God appointed me to be the chosen person, God appointed us to be the chosen people, this belongs to us. Like, what? And then, like, God forbid, like, "Oh, no, my God is a little bit different. My God never told me that. My God, thinks we're all equal. My God loves us all equally," right? And so it's like the humans are going to war against these gods that we created, right? Like, yes, collectively, if you put everything together, all of the energy of the universe all together, everything, even more than the universe. Collectively, absolutely everything that is and ever will be, that's what God is. That's what source is, right? But then humans also can create demigods. Did you know that? This makes me think about so, like, when I was, like, in college, I was really, really, really super fascinated by religion, right? Like, I loved my religious study classes. I loved learning about Hinduism and Catholicism and Christianity and loved hearing about, like, the religions in the Middle East, like Sikhism and, like, all types of other things. And what really fascinated me were polytheistic religions. And the reason why polytheistic religions, intrigued me is because it really expressed the vastness of human creation, right? How they can create different iterations of different gods, right? Like, oh, this is the god of war, and this is the god of destruction, and this is the goddess of beauty, and this is I thought that that was really fascinating, that instead of lumping all of all of God isness together and just creating one supreme being, they were able to dissect the different aspects of who God is and who Goddess is. And we're like, no, God is all of this stuff. God is the goddess of the hunt. God is Ganesh, the destroyer of obstacles. God is the Krishna, like God is the and, like, they just, like, break it down into this entire pantheon, and I'm like, "Wow, that's really interesting and beautiful to me," right? Or even, like, in the Roman Empire, how they have the goddess Athena and, God Zeus and, like, the different pantheons, right? Interesting to me. Love it. I have an issue with us going to war about things that are very personal, right? No one can refute the fact that if you have a spiritual experience, nobody can tell you that you didn't have that experience. Nobody can tell you, "Oh no, that's just psychosis." Right? Like, even I get why, you know, specifically Christians, cuz again, that's like the faith that I grew up in. I can understand why the conviction is so strong in Christianity, right? Like, have you ever been to, like, a Baptist church or, like, a Black people church? Or I'm sure this happens in white people churches as well. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't been to many white actually, no. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Side tangent. Um, Seeing people catch the Holy Spirit or the Holy Ghost, when you see stuff like that, it makes it very hard to refute that something is happening, right? Humans are tapped into this etheric something, something bigger than us. And a lot of us are aware that something is real. And I think because we are so much aware of the fact that something is real, we are desiring to put definitions and names and titles to that thing that we've all experienced that we believe to be real. But it's like, this is like man wants to say, no, this is the definition of God. This is what the Holy Spirit means. This is that feeling that you're getting. This is how you get to God. You need to read this book. You need to do these things. You need to behave this way. And I just don't believe that there's one way to get to God. And I don't believe God wants there to be one way to get to Him, her, goddess, God, all of it, all that is. I don't believe that there's one way to get to it. And so I digress on that. Let me see if there are any more messages I wanted to share. I mean, I'm just looking at this death card, and it doesn't mean like a physical death, but it definitely means that something is coming to an end. Have you guys been seeing like a lot of 999s? I've been seeing a lot of 999s. Endings and new beginnings. Something is happening to the humans. It can look like an awakening that is happening. It can look like a lot of humans are losing their minds. This is specifically making me think about like in 2020, like people really lost their minds. This is the first time in my lifetime where I'm like experiencing the mental psychosis or the mental. I really became aware that some people don't know how to use their brains for themselves. They don't know how to exercise that muscle of critical thinking. And that's a little bit scary. It's scary because do you know how many people went to war against each other over ideology, right? Um, Walking in grocery stores and you're not allowed to get too close to people, or God forbid somebody sneezes in the room and we're like looking at people crazy. Like that shows you how malleable the human brain is and the human psyche is. It is so easy to mentally manipulate and emotionally manipulate the humans. And I feel as if that is what has been happening. We all know this. We know the humans have been under attack by who. Can't say it's specifically one person or one group, but the humans are definitely under attack. We can see this when we look at the wars going on in the world. We can see this when we look at the governments of the world. We can see this when we look at the psychology and sociology of people, the way that they think, the way that they interact with each other. Something is happening. And I don't know what is going to be the next catalyst that is going to propel humanity into its next initiation. But I know for certain we are definitely in the midst of an initiation right now. Curious if there are any more questions. What is the initiation? That's my question. What is the initiation? What is it? Side tangent. So I think it's so funny how, yes, I do have a relationship with God, and I think it's so funny that when I was growing up, I believed that like reading tarot was demonic and like all these things that you learn in the church, like Harry Potter is evil and all these things. And then when I got older, I just realized that we believe what we believe because we've been spoon-fed it, right? One country might believe another country is evil because that's what they've been spoon-fed their entire life. One religion can think another religion is horrific because that's what they've been spoon-fed their entire life. I would love to see humanity. Oh my gosh, and then the 3 of Swords comes out. So sad. This is heartbreak, okay? Humanity is heartbroken at one, the things that they've had to endure, the things we've all had to endure, and I feel as if it makes us very, again, jaded and pessimistic about our future and the future of humanity. A lot of people are like, "You know what? Screw it. Screw it." Like, humanity is cooked anyway. And I feel as if I think that that's why I think that's what makes people go to war with each other. Yes, it's about power. Yes, it's about control, but it's also about a broken heart. People's hearts are broken and they don't know how to mend them. They don't know how to get their needs met. They don't know how to show compassion and empathy for people who believe things that they don't necessarily believe. And that's a problem. We can't kick people off the planet, okay? It doesn't matter how many people you kill, you can't make everybody believe the same thing. You can't make everybody believe that your God is the one true God. You can't make everybody believe that your political party is the right political party. You can't. The war will never stop if we're always trying to convince and persuade people to join the other side. That has to stop. You have to allow people to form their own opinions and believe what they want to believe as long as they're not harming anybody. Okay? Now, I have to make sure I add that tidbit as long as they're not harming anybody because there are some people who believe that, you know, this is at a very far left extreme. Things like, being intimate with children is okay. It's not. So we have to have a sense of the only word that I can think about is morality. And again, I feel as if that's why religion was created to have a solid standard of morality, but then again, also for that level of control. Quick side tangent. I was watching the movie the other day, The Heretic. One of my friends sent me the link to watch the movie. And in the movie, it's about these two girls from the Church of Latter-day Saints. They are missionaries and they're knocking on doors and they go to this man's house and they're there obviously to tell the man about the Lord and to see if they want to convert to their church and all the fun things. Um, this man ends up kidnapping these girls. This is a little spoiler alert. So if you wanted to see this movie, maybe don't listen to this part, but it's a good movie. I thought it was good. Um, the man ends up capturing the women and locking them in his house and then making them so he's, like, listening to them and studying them and analyzing the psychology of what they believe and why they believe it, and the reason why I thought this movie was so profound because, in the movie, the man is like, "All of these religions are the same they're, like, the same thing, just regurgitated, copy and pasted, chopped up, and new names, new ideas, but it's all the same story again and again," and he gives the reference of like he has a Monopoly game. And he said, "This is the game of Monopoly. You guys have played this game before, right?" And the girls are like, "Yeah, we've seen this game before." And then he pulls out another rendition of Monopoly and another rendition and another rendition. And then he pulls out the rendition of Monopoly where they have credit cards. And he said, like, this is essentially what religion is. There are different renditions of the same old stories, the same old tales. It's just how humanity wants to teach the youth essentially these common ideas about the way the world works, right? Like, you know, kids might ask their parents, "Hey, how did the world get created? How did we get here?" And okay, the story of, God creating the earth in the Bible, right? Or in other religions, like, I don't know, they might say these other gods put the earth together. So saying all this to say, these stories are all copy and pasted, regurgitated, flipped and reversed, and it's just fits whatever story or narrative the people in that time wanted to share. But at the end of the day, Religion was to create a sense of morality, meaning that we all agree that, like, I don't know, stabbing somebody is morally wrong, or I don't know, sleeping with another man's wife is morally wrong. Like, they created these rules because humanity was in a lawless time. This makes me think about, like, when Moses, if there was a Moses, came down from the mountains and brought back the 10 commandments. It was created because humanity was very lawless. We were worshiping idols and sleeping with our brothers and sisters and having sex with animals and doing all types of weird stuff. And so we create religion to have a standard of morality so that you can't just be having sex with babies and it's okay. I hope I don't get flagged for saying that. I understand that that's very wrong to say. But that's what people are doing. And so that's why I feel that religion was created to level the playing field of morality, saying that God doesn't like that. Okay, God doesn't like when you do X, Y, and Z, and we all have to agree on that so that the world can be a better place. And I really, yes, there is a level, like a level of control when it comes to religion. It's just making me think about, like, way back when, the crusaders going around chopping people's heads off and putting them on pikes and crucifying them and hanging them up and for everybody to see. It's all fear tactics. I feel as if you can only control people with your religion through fear, now I want to question why anybody would want to follow that, right? Saying that, I don't know, you have to pray 3 times a day or God's gonna smite you, or you have to do X, Y, and Z or God is going to smite you, or like, you must give your heart to Jesus or you're going to hell. It's like, if there was no fear involved in these conversations, would people of their free will want to be a part of these communities and these organizations? I wonder, right? If there was no fear involved, would people still believe what they believe? I remember growing up, I wanted to be a devout Christian only because I had an immense fear of going to hell, or I had an immense fear of the devil, right? They love talking about the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil, the devil's out to get you, the devil's going to get you. You need to repent because the devil is coming and the devil is everywhere. And then I realized there are some religions where the devil doesn't even exist. Like in Judaism, they don't even believe in a devil or an adversary, right? They don't. And so it's just really interesting, these stories that we create to control people, to control the way people think. Um And I just want to see humanity get to a place where we can freely believe what we want to believe and think what we want to believe without fear of someone coming into your house in the middle of the night and killing you and your family, right? Or somebody bombing your country because you don't necessarily want to believe what they believe. Or, you know what I mean? What gives people the right to think that you're allowed to take somebody's life because you don't agree with them or because you don't agree with what they believe in? Like, that to me is insanity, and it's very egotistical, and it's very like, who do you think you are to think that you are better than absolutely anybody else and that your God is better than anybody else? Like, sure, you're allowed to think that your God is the sun, moon, and the stars, but don't you dare lay a finger on anybody in the name of your God, because your God didn't tell you to do that. Your ego did. And I know this because God is God over everything, not just God over you, right? The Christians think, oh, only the Christians are good. If you're Christian, you're good. If you're not, sucks to suck, right? The Jewish people believe if you're Jewish, you're good. If you're not Jewish, it sucks to suck. If you are, the chosen children of Israel, you are good to go, but if you're not, sucks to suck, you're not chosen, God doesn't love you, so we have permission to X, Y, and Z. I think that's really wild. It's really wild, and I think it's a rampant sickness that has been infecting humanity since the beginning of time. Will we ever heal ourselves of this sickness? I have no clue. But I feel as an empath, the reason that I and so many of us who feel energy so deeply just feel so bogged down, feel so yucky and icky in the human body because we all share a consciousness. And it just is like, how can humanity be so callous and be so careless and just we really don't give a furf about people, right? Like, it's really funny to me how people are like, "Save the puppies, save the puppies. No, kill the puppies," or "Save the animals, protect the animals," and it's like, that's amazing, we need to protect the animals, but then when it comes to, like, humans, people who are just like you couldn't care less. Some people care more about animals than they care about humans. Very perplexing, very perplexing. How long have we been talking? 45 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna hop off my soapbox. Thank you guys for listening to whatever the heck this is. My closing remarks are something is definitely happening in the collective. Something is definitely happening to the humans, through the humans. And it's like we're just waiting for the next shoe to drop. I think so many of us were waiting like, we were like, is it the alien shoe gonna drop? Like, are they finally gonna come out and tell it? Like, are the aliens finally gonna come out and whatever? Honestly, I feel as if the aliens couldn't even save us even if they wanted to. They couldn't. They couldn't. Because there are just some things that humans need to untangle within themselves. There's something within the stored DNA, the stored story of humanity that needs to be rewritten. Because at this moment in time, people are very lost and hurting. And it is a very uncomfortable time to be on the planet. But then again, one could argue it's always been uncomfortable being on the planet. Think about World War II, World War One, the Vietnam War, the war in Iraq, war in Afghanistan. Like, it's never been a 100% peaceful time on the planet. Will we ever experience actually, no, I recant that statement because we don't know, right? There are stories of, like, Atlantis and utopian societies. Like, maybe at one point, humanity, if we were even humans then, I don't know what we were then, I don't know, like Atlanteans or Arcturians or whatever. Maybe there was a time when things were, like, absolute peace and bliss on planet Earth. And I can't tell you what happened to make humanity fall from that peace and bliss and grace. Um, but yeah, these are just my thoughts. Thank you guys for listening to me. My name is Naja, and I don't know. We'll see if I put this on my main channel or on the podcast. We'll see. I don't want to get canceled, but I don't think I said anything too bad, but I don't know. It's a sensitive time for humanity. All right, guys, I love you. I'll chat with you later. Bye.